Hey guys, today's video is decluttering tips and tricks and how to declutter fast and efficiently.
Yeah, so you will know by the end of this video how to declutter fast and efficiently, and you will have gotten rid of any fear you might have of getting started and making a bigger mess than you had before you got started. So let's have a look at that. This is our second video in our series about decluttering. We already did a video on the benefits of decluttering and how our lives are better as a result of systematic decluttering. And we're going to talk about mistakes that you can make while decluttering and how to avoid those. We're going to do a video about, well, actually where we just go through our house and taste our own medicine. So those are some examples. If that sounds good and you want to stick along for the ride, then click the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications.
When you declutter, there are a lot of different types of decluttering projects. Like some that'll take a whole day and some that'll take you like 10 minutes. So for the purpose of this video, we're talking about like a medium scope project. So something that'll take you a little bit of time, but you should be able to handle it even with kids around.
Yeah, so something that, isn't somewhere in the range of maybe like 10-15 minutes to
A couple hours.
3 hours,
Yeah.
3 hours. Let's get started with our decluttering tips and tricks. Christine?
Thank you, Vinny. The first decluttering tip is to prepare. And yes, I know you want to declutter fast, but if you don't prepare at least a little bit, you're gonna get stuck sitting down, getting up, getting something, back again, get up, get something else. So before you sit down, get a few bags, a few boxes, and be ready for decluttering.
Yeah, so as you're in the process of getting things out of your house to their new home, you can get stuck having bags of stuff sitting in your hallway waiting to go to, wherever they're going, and you want to avoid that as well. So while you're preparing, you might want to give some thought to where those things should end up. Like the stuff that you're gonna donate, where are you gonna donate it to? The stuff that you're gonna sell, how are you gonna sell it? Let's talk about donating.
Yeah, you can do a quick Google search, just write donation and then the name of your town, and I'm sure a lot of places are gonna pop up. We live in a small town in Denmark, and there are loads of places to donate just around here.
Places that might want to receive some of the stuff that you're getting rid of. You could think of charity shops, shelters, animal shelters as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
they love towels and things like that. Also, if you want to sell some of your stuff, because I'm sure it's not all junk, then there are a lot of different places you can do that. Facebook Marketplace is a really good place for that. Also, Facebook has a lot of different groups where you can do selling your stuff online.
Yeah, on Facebook. Go figure. And it's quite straightforward. Just go to the Facebook search bar and enter the name of your town, your county, or your area, and then write buy, sell, and swap, or buy, sell, or swap, or something along those lines. And I'm sure you'll find a couple of groups that you can join and use to sell your stuff. Yeah. And usually, whether you're selling in there or in the marketplace, you could just click the sell button and it'll kind of guide you through the process.
Snap
a few
simple.
Pictures and you're good to go.
Yeah, there's also Craigslist and a lot of other different lists like that depending on where you are. Here in Denmark we have Den Blå Avis, now you know that. But I'm sure every country has their own Craigslist.
So do a little bit of homework beforehand so you can declutter fast all the way to the end. Did that make sense?
Of course it did.
I think it did.
Of course it did.
So now we've talked about the preparation that you can do to make sure that you get stuff from where it is right now to where it's supposed to be. Really, in order to declutter fast, you also just have to get going. So let's get going.
So what you need to do to declutter fast is to pick a scope. So think of what it is that you actually need to declutter. Is it the whole wardrobe or is it like a shelf in the wardrobe? Pick something that's manageable that you can get done with the time that you have.
Yeah. And you could, again, you could pick a whole room. If your room is in a very cluttered state, then maybe you want to break it down even further. We'll do a video on more extreme decluttering in
soon.
The future, in the near future.
Soon.
Okay. Soon. That's another good word for what I'm trying to say.
I like that. Soon.
So keep an eye out for that if that sounds interesting. Once you've decided what area you're actually decluttering, you want to make sure that you have access to all the stuff that you need to go through. That can mean emptying it all out, or if it's a smaller area like a drawer, then okay, maybe you don't need to empty it all out, but you might as well because it's easy. If you want to declutter fast and effectively, then you want to hold those things in your hands to realize, wait, I have this thing, I don't need it, I want to get rid of it. But if you never see all the stuff that you need to go through, then you miss out on that opportunity. It's a missed chance. There will be sadness.
Yes. Also, when you do empty it out and touch it, you want to touch it once. So if you want to declutter fast, don't take it, put it down and think, oh, I'll think about this, and take something else up, I'll think about this too. That'll take way too long. That's how a lot of people get stuck. You want to touch it once. Have in your hand, think, is this sell, donate, or throw away, or is it actually something I want to keep? Then you put it in those bags, depending on what you want to do with it, or you keep it in the keep pile. But before you put it there, you think, does it belong in this space even? And if it doesn't, you don't want to get up and put it where it belongs. You want to simply put it in a laundry basket or something so that when you're done decluttering, you can take that basket and take it out of the room in one swoop.
Yeah, and if you want to know how to deal with those things, we have another video on where we actually declutter and organize our basement storage. So check that out. It's going to be up here.
Oh yeah, but the basement's downstairs.
Right. So let's dive into the groups of things that you would actually want to get rid of and why you might want to get rid of them. Starting with discard. So if something is broken, it's not working, it's dangerous, it hurts you in your eyes when you look at it, then get rid of it. You want to get rid of it. No questions asked. That should be easy. Stuff that isn't broken or harmful, you might want to either sell or donate. So if it's in decent condition, somebody could make use of it, it's not really a sellable item, then you might want to donate it. That makes sense. The donate pile might also include stuff that you want to donate to someone specific, someone in the family, or someone who just got married, or someone who's going away for college. So keep track of that and donate it. It'll make you happy in your heart.
And the person who gets it will be happy too.
But if it's something that is, in really good condition, it's something that maybe you spent a bit of money on, and you think you can resell it relatively easily, then you want to sell it. And then you go back to the preparation that, we talked about before. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever.
Now, as you're going through making these decisions, we have a bunch more decluttering tips and tricks that'll help you. And one of them is ask yourself if the item you have has sentimental value. Think about it from the perspective of the giver as well. You got something from someone, are they still thinking about, oh yeah, I'm so happy I gave my great-grandmother's brooch to Binne because he's taking such good care of it, or did they not even remember?
So think about, the gift that you gave your cousin 3 years ago. Do you remember? Probably not. So it probably is roughly the same the other way around. Don't assign more sentimental value to things than the giver did in the first place.
Yeah. And also, we will get into this a little bit later, but is there a different way that I can store this and still have the sentiment of the item?
Yeah, exactly. So actually, let's just get into that right now. Can you store things digitally? Can you snap a picture of something that helps you retain that memory? Or, if you're talking about like kids' drawings or even their toys, like it's amazing how much calmer kids are about getting rid of stuff if they know that you have a picture of it. So try that out as well.
Yeah, our daughter Emilia, she loves everything basically. And we had to get rid of their toy kitchen because they were not playing with it anymore. We got a few pictures of it, and now every once in a while when she sees someone else's toy kitchen, she'll remember and want to see the picture. She sees it and it's over.
Yeah. And on the topic of storing things digitally, things like letters, important documents, anything that you can scan in pictures, old pictures, you can scan those in and store them digitally. They take up less space, but you know that you still have them.
There are actually only a handful of documents that you need to have the original version of. The rest, scan them in and store them.
Yeah, and you'll realize that as you start to store things digitally, it takes a little bit of work, but then, while you're making the decision, do I actually want to scan this 10-page document, or do I not really need it? That helps you declutter as well.
Yeah, and along those lines, a lot of manuals and different things are online these days. When we went through this, our important paper file went from like this big to like almost non-existent. Another decluttering tip is to ask yourself, when was the last time you used it? So really look at the thing and say, have I used this in the last month, or 3 months, or 6 months? And if the answer is no to 6 months, you are probably safe to get rid of it.
And if you're not sure, then you can do the time capsule thing. So, put the things that you're not sure about in a bag, mark it with a date, and then, set a time for when you want to discard those things if you haven't used them. The trick here is also, put it somewhere, and if you reach that date, then don't look through the bag again. No. Just get rid of it. You know that you don't need it. Another variation of this is if you're not sure about certain clothes, whether you want to get rid of them or whether you use them on a regular basis, then put them all on hangers. Orientate the hangers the same way, and when you use them, then turn the hangers around, and then you'll know in 6 months whether you've used those clothes or not.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, then donate them. Someone will be happy to have your old shirt that you don't wear anymore.
Or that your wife doesn't want you to wear anymore.
Do I have any of those, or?
Not anymore.
The time capsule approach is great for, anything from toys to utensils to clothes or whatever. It's not necessarily a great way to declutter fast, but it is a good decluttering tip for decluttering efficiently. You won't be getting rid of too much stuff, but you will be getting rid of the right stuff, and you'll be left with the things that you actually use and enjoy.
But an approach that is good for decluttering fast is to ask yourself the question, can I replace this item for less than $20? So if the answer is yes, and you weren't quite sure if you were gonna use it again or not, then get rid of it, because you can always just go out and replace it if and when you need it again.
Yeah, and this applies really well to electronics, because first of all, electronics get obsolete pretty fast. So our USB sticks that, we had a collection of USB sticks in one of our drawers. We realized that, most of them are like, 16 megabytes or like 1 gigabyte or something, like, they're kind of useless at this point in time. So they go obsolete. Same with cable. So most of the stuff that you have now, if you're not sure you're using it, you would be able to definitely replace, and probably with a better version of it for less than $20.
Yet another decluttering tip is to ask yourself, would I replace this if it broke? So if this your thing broke, would I really miss it that much? If the answer is no, then get rid of it.
Yep, and another favorite decluttering tip is to ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? This is really good for helping you put things into perspective. If I don't have this thing, if I can't find this thing, what is the worst that could happen? These are some of our favorite decluttering tips and tricks that can help you decide what you actually want to keep and what you want to declutter. What are your favorites? Do you have any other ones that you really hold on to and are useful to you while you're decluttering? Share those, please, with us in the comments. While you're going through all of the stuff that you need to declutter, it's really easy to get overwhelmed. You've got piles of stuff everywhere, and you kind of forget what you've gone through and what you haven't. So it's really good to have a specific method for how you want to declutter. One thing that we found is really helpful is to set a timer. So identify the space as you're, so maybe we should have mentioned this earlier, but as you're deciding on the scope of the area that you want to declutter, tell yourself, okay, I think this is going to take me, an hour. This is going to take me 2 hours, and then set a timer and use that time. It can also be dependent on the size of the area that you're actually decluttering, or how much time you have. If you only have 15 minutes or half an hour, set a timer for 15 minutes and half an hour, and be okay with, not finishing it all in one go. It's all part of the plan, so it shouldn't get you down, it shouldn't get you overwhelmed.
No, exactly. And actually, a lot of kids that are older than the toddler age really likes looking at timers counting down. Our son Marcus, he's 8 now, but for years he's loved looking at timers counting down. So this would also be a thing you could do with your kids, and they wouldn't get into everything.
Yeah, with the kids in the room, and just, while you're decluttering in general, stay in the room. That's why you do the preparation beforehand, so that you can stick to the task for the time that you allocate to it. What really makes it difficult for people to declutter is if they're going back and forth. If you have a pile of stuff that doesn't belong there and you realize that, it's a distraction to get up and start, trying to find a place for it somewhere else. Stick to decluttering while you're decluttering.
Exactly. Another really good method for decluttering fast is to get into the room and do a clockwise motion. So start here and then work your way through. I got that like a clock would. And don't back and forth because that will take you longer.
Yeah, it's not efficient. And on that note, another decluttering tip that is really helpful for when you start feeling overwhelmed is going back to, when you were starting off the whole process. What did you envision the room looking like? What did you envision the space looking like? And hold on to that idea. If you need some motivation, some inspiration, check out the video that we already did on the benefits of decluttering. That can also be something that helps counterbalance some of that feeling of overwhelm while you're decluttering.
Our final decluttering tip is to finish what you start. So don't quit halfway through. Make sure that as you're done decluttering, everything looks nice, you have those bags, go right now. Donate them right away. Or alternatively, if you can't go that instant because someone's taking a nap or something, put in your calendar and say, I'm gonna go tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Put them in the car so they're ready.
Yeah, exactly. And set reminders, set an alarm on your phone. Do whatever it takes to make sure that the stuff that you have decluttered, that you're ready to get rid of, doesn't end up again in your hallway or in your basement or somewhere else where you just have to go through it again a couple of years from now when you've forgotten, hey, what is that bag? Or what does it consist of? So now that you have all of our best decluttering tips and tricks for decluttering fast and efficiently, go forth, my children! Declutter. Where are you going to start? Let us know in the comments.
And share this video with people that you know who are ready to get their decluttering on.
Yep, yeah. We'll see you next week. Hope you know what to do in first.
I think maybe we should practice a little bit.
And you don't step.
You don't step on.
You don't step on spiders because spiders are our friends,
Keep
Christine.
Going. No.